now, if you have any doubt or if you don't know when anything's due, all you got to do now is just go to Course Compass. The homework for Unit 2 and 1, the Chapter 1 and 2, is due on the 25th, which I think is Wednesday. And we covered pretty much all those questions that I thought was important. And the Unit 2 material was due the 2nd, which is a week from today, or let's see, a week from, yeah, something like that. Next Monday. So, and we've already covered that material also. If you want to know when the tests are due, then you go to Course Compass. You don't call or you don't ask your teacher, because your teacher will say you don't have a clue. So there's the times right there. So they're a week apart. That gives you plenty of time to, well, you should be finished with Unit 1 material, because we've been on it for about 3 out of the 5 weeks that we've been going. So you should have that material done. The only material that you should not have done probably is this material, and we're going to finish it this week, probably. So, and I'll show you the Unit 2 test right quick, and we'll go over it again. But so you might want to write some of these down. Here is add and simplify eyes. We'll talk about eyes today, just to make sure. We've already talked about it, but we're going to talk about it again. That says 5 plus 8i, parentheses, plus 7 minus 7i. So that's a problem. Solve by completing the square. X squared minus 18x minus 4. And if you don't get it, if you don't write it all down today, just go to YouTube and look up the videos. You know, there are people that are actually watching the videos. That's why I do this. So, if you need to rewrite the test over, or the problems from the test that I'm showing you, and you don't get them in class, then go look at the video. Find vertex formula. That's when you set the vertex formula, the intercept formula is what I call it. Find the coordinates of the vertex. So you're going to use what? Completing the what? Square. And that'll give you, and you know it's opening which way?
Up, down.
So, and then downward. So it's not C, and it's not what? B. So let's say you don't have a clue what's going on. At least if you know that much, you know that B and C is not what?
Correct.
It's not correct. So at least you got it down to 50-50. So at least you got a little bit better of a chance to guess it correctly. 4. So that's that. Which of the graphs cannot be that of a cubic polynomial? Well, a cubic is going to look something like this guy. That. So, you know, depending on what, now that's a cube right here. This is a cubic function, because it is, if you was to stretch this out this way and this way, you get something like that right there. These two right here you got to watch out for, because these two can be a quartic or a cubic function. So, and I tell students, you know, once you do a couple of these, you'll see it in the homework. You'll see it a whole lot easier. We'll go over that too. The eyes and that. Solve by completing the square. 80% of this Unit 2 test, or Chapter 3 test, is solving by completing the square. Again, negative. Which way is it opening?
Downward.
So that one's not, and that one's not. So you know that it's going to be between this one and this one. Eyes, we're gonna cover that. Negative x squared minus 3x plus 1. What do they want you to do? Put it in intercept form right there. So you're going to have to use what? Completing the square. There's another one. We'll do that type problem today. What's the horizontal shift? Two to the left. Good. What's the vertical shift?
It's 2 down.
Two down. So you got a regular parabola with a horizontal shift, excuse me, of 5 to the left and 2 down. Solve by completing the square. Solve by completing the square. Solve by completing the square. Go over that one today. Solve by completing the square. That's rationalizing. We'll go over that today. What type of problem is this going to be? It's to the 7th power, so you got an odd power. Which one's it going to be? Well, it's not going to be this one or this one. Why? What are those? Parabola, meaning they're to the what power? Even power. Alright, so that leaves us with these two guys. Is this a positive or a negative pi?
Positive.
So that means it is
B.
because that's, and how do you know that? Parent graph. Look at your parent graph for x cubed or x to the 7th power. It's going to be like that. Solve the equation by completing the square. Do y'all sense an underlying theme on this test?
Completing the square?
If you don't know how to do it, you're going to suck at this test.
Tuesday.
What?
One of the answers you could have picked was Tuesday.
Some people would actually pick it.
Water,
Donald Duck.
You'd be surprised how many people miss these bonus questions. They shouldn't procreate either. 30. Completing the square. X squared minus 14x plus 47. So there's 30 questions. I give you 11 that you should answer. There's one. What's the answer to that?
No way,
No way, no how.
Thank you. Let's go to another one. What branch?
Army.
Thank you for the Boy Scouts. I appreciate that.
Marines.
Thank you. Which number is this? 25 or 27? Got.
Sure, the answer is
Oh, answer. Okay.
Give it 5.
Okay.
Just say it.
Okay. What is that one? I mean, what are you going to do? Solve by complete square. Well, you know that. I'm going to go over the eyes. I was going to give you another stupid question. There we go. Where is all of Hubert's homework and tests done?
My labs. Yes.
Yep. This is the most missed question of the bonus questions.
A.
Why isn't it C?
Because it doesn't add up to a number.
C only adds up to 9.
I see what you
Complete square. This is the one that nobody should miss. Why?
That makes sense. It's the only one with an arm.
It's the only one that has an email address and a phone number. Will Hubert's final exam be online?
It's a negative.
Yes. Nope. I'm going to give y'all all unit tests online, and then when the final rolls around, I'm going to make you do it in class.
Are you being serious? You know.
When does the homework terminate?
You suck.
Yeah. Midnight before the test starts. Why should you not miss that one?
That's the
Because
only
you
answer.
put.
It's the only answer it could be.
Yeah.
Context of the answers do not match the question. Do people get it wrong?
Yeah.
You should have just dropped those people.
No, we make fun of them. Why does Hubert not entertain extra credit, extra points, or dropping any grades during the final weeks of the semester?
Because
My
you didn't
head
turn
hurts.
them all on your exams.
Because your head hurts, or because I want you to live in a ditch. How about he awards me extra points for these type questions on tests, and he drops the lowest 2 on each unit? Let's think about that a minute.
No. You dropped the 2 lowest on each unit? Like homework wise?
No, test. You
Oh,
have 3
okay.
times to take it.
Okay, I just said you were dropping 2.
No. So, how many problems do we have on this test?
30.
30.
30. I've given you 10. Let's just say 10. So how many points am I giving you on the Unit 2 test? Well, there's 10 bonus questions. There's 3 per bonus question. That's
30.
30.
30.
Yeah. I'm giving you 30 points on this test. First test, I gave you 11, and I think they were 2.5 apiece. So that's what, 25? So by the time I get through with 4 units, how many points have I given you?
That's what.
At least 100, which is another,
That's right.
what? Test grade. That's why I don't drop anything at the end, because I'm giving you another test grade. I'm giving you 4 unit tests. That's 12 tests that you take. 4 times 3 is 12. I'm dropping how many
2.
out of each? So that's 8. I'm dropping 8 test grades. And I'm giving you an extra test grade at the end of the semester, which is your bonus points. So now you know why you don't ask me for extra credit at the end of the semester. That's why. So he awards me extra points for these type questions on the test, and he drops the lowest 2 grades on each unit. When is the week of finals?
Whack.
Right?
December 7th, 1941. That's a good
What was that?
Your birthday.
Pearl Harbor.
Your birthday.
Oh, that's kind of dark.
Cameron
Why?
Savage.
That one of the questions was the date
You were
Pearl
sad.
Harbor happened.
Well, some people actually put that for that day, somebody actually hits that for the week of finals.
That's dark.
Pitiful.
I just said you would be 80.
Oof.
If you take several forms of the test in Hubert's class, how is it counted?
Had to take that.
I just figured the calculus.
When is the last day of class for this semester?
Judgment. My teacher sucks.
Oh.
Judgment Day. It's never end.
Oh, and geez, you chose 9/11 as one of the options for that one?
Well, that's just an option. I mean, I'm not making fun of it or anything.
I know you're not. I know that's not the point of it. It's just kind of dark.
Well, but what is the other one? Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do that. All right. So, everybody should get these, and by the end of the semester, you will have each of these questions 4 times, so you should know when the final exam is, and when the final week is, and when the last day of class is, and all that stuff. You should know by the 4 tests. Okay, who's got questions about Unit 1 test and Unit 2 test besides me going over I's? I'm going to go over that here in just a minute. Anybody got any questions over Unit 1 homework, Unit 2 homework, Unit 1 test, Unit 2 test? All right, well, let's look at this first question. This first question says 5 plus 8i plus 7 minus 7i. Well, let me go over again. What is I?
It's magnitude.
-1.
I is equal to the square root of -1. I squared is equal to -1. And that's what you have to remember for this section.
Plus.
Okay? Now, why do we have i's and I squared? Why do we use I and I squared? Well, the only reason we use I and I squared is because of housekeeping. That's why. Nobody wants to sit and write square root of -1 quantity squared plus 2 times square root of -1 plus the square root of -1 or 2 or square root of -1, whatever. All right. In other words, you don't want to sit there and write all of this stuff right here. So back a long time ago, they said, okay, we're going to make the square root of -1 equal to a letter. And if we make it equal to a letter or a variable, then we can apply our rules for multiplying, adding, and subtracting variables. So that's why why we have this. So if I take this right here, this says 5 plus 8i plus 7 minus 7i. Is there any difference in this than 5 plus 8x plus 7 minus 7x? Is there any difference between these two as far as the mechanics? No. Use the same rules. Only at the end, you got to make sure you don't have anything like this, that I squared is equal to -1. You need to make sure of that. So that's why we have this. The only reason we have this is so we can do this like this. Unless you just like writing this over and over and over. So, the way that you would do this, if it was x's, is you got a 1 right here. You got a positive 1 right here. Distribute this 1. Distribute that 1. And you get 5 plus 8i plus 7 minus 7i. And what do you do after you distribute? Combine like terms. And what's 5 plus 7?
13.
Oh, it was 12 last time.
12.
12. 8i minus 7i is
1i.
That's why we have I. The only reason we have I is so you don't have to write this every time you need to. You can just write an I instead of that.
Wait, is that it?
So are we gonna have any questions? It's like I raised to 27 or something?
Yeah. I got a rule for that too. It's a whole lot easier than the books. Okay? So let's take an example that you're talking about. I to the 27th power. Now, I tell students when they have a I to an exponent, first of all, you take 27, divide it by 2. Do y'all remember what I said about if you was to come up and ask me a question after the class, and you were asking me a question, and somebody walked up right when you were asking me a question, and I started talking to them, what would that be? Okay, that's a shot across the bow. What's a shot across the bow mean?
Like vowels.
Shot
Oh,
across the bow. What does it mean? It means I just,
Something to do with the ship.
Yeah. It's a warning, isn't it? Don't be rude, because the second time you're rude to me, I'm going to call you out. Third time, I'm going to throw you out of the classroom. All right? All right. Now, 27 divided by 2. I is a fraction of the class. Just think of somebody that don't know good English. I is a fraction of the class. And 1 is a whole. Okay, remember that. I is a fraction of the class, 1 is a whole. If you get a fraction, and don't forget, odd is negative, even is positive. All right, so let's do this one. 27 divided by 2. I took that 27, I divided it by 2. You always divide it by 2. What do you get? 13 and a half. What is this?
Fraction.
It's a fraction, so your answer is I. What's 13? Odd, so it's negative I. This is a little Hubertism I put together when I first started teaching. Okay? And you can use it or you can't use it. I mean, if you don't want to use it, that's fine. So try another one. Try 36. I to the 36th power. 36 divided by 2 is equal to 18. What is 18?
It's all numbers.
So the answer is 1. Odd or even?
Or odd.
No,
Are you talking about 18 or 1?
18.
Okay, that's even.
So the answer is positive.
Ah,
Isn't that a whole lot easier?
that is a whole lot easier.
So let's try another one. Let's try, I'm going to erase a little bit. Let's go with I to the 34th. I to the 44th. No, we already got that one. I to the 46th. What is this?
It's a whole number.
1. What is odd or even?
Even or odd.
The answer is -1. And the only other one is, let's go with I to the 7th. My I to the 9th. Yeah, I to the 9th. I is a fraction. What's that?
Even
The answer is positive.
Why do you say I as a fraction?
You are a fraction of the class, aren't you? I is a fraction. I is a fraction of the class. Something I came up with. It's not, it's not in any math book. And if you don't want to use it, that's your prerogative. Okay? You want to do it the old way, and I think they divide by 4. I don't know what they do with the book. Knock yourself out.
It's a
Okay.
lot harder. I never got it.
Huh?
They give the book, it just gives you a list of them all.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to memorize it or something.
hmm Well, there's some books that actually say divide by 4.
Yeah.
And then you have to remember what you're talking about. But I just did that. All right, let's do a nerd. Let's do another I. And this one is adding I's. This is adding, you can add 7I plus 3I. If you get something 7I plus 3I. What's 7I plus 3I? 10I. Because you treat I just like you do a variable. That's the whole point of making the square root of -1 equal to I. So they could apply what is 8I minus 3I. 5I. Now why am I not doing any I squared? Because we're going to get there in just a second. Let's go ahead and do one like that. Because there's going to be some multiplying and you're going to get I squared. All right? 5 plus 4i multiplied by 2 minus 7i. And I'll write it bigger for you. 5 plus 4i times 2 minus 7i. Give y'all a second or two to work on that. Use your FOIL method. Pronounce it however you'd like. Now you can talk amongst yourselves. Went to the big town of Walterboro yesterday.
And
It's not a very big town.
where's that at?
Down near Charleston. Charleston. Went down there to pick up a board. Yep. Google it. B-O-A-R. Google it.
A Brady?
Yeah, it's a Hollis.
Well, yeah. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people are like,
Should've just went to
What, you
Wild
gonna
Hog
cook it or
Road.
something? Are you gonna cook it or something?
no. Using it. I bought it to
Oh, it's a lot.
use for other purposes.
Fertilizer.
Use it
Doesn't
to
sound
As a stud?
do his thing, yeah.
Stud will work.
Yep.
That's a stud right there.
Okay, what is FOIL first? 5 times 2 is 10. Outside, of course, if you're from around here, it's outer. So that's 5 times negative 7 is negative 35i. Inside, for the 8i, or inner, or negative last is negative 28i away. And you combine these two and you're done, right? No, you are not. Negative 35 plus 8, I have no idea. What is it? Negative 27i minus 28 times what?
-1.
There you go. I'm impressed. 10 minus 27i plus 28. And what's 28 plus 10?
38.
Your answer, your final answer is 38 plus 27
Minus 27.
minus 27i. Or negative 27i plus 38. Now, most of your books are going to say put in the form of A plus BI. Okay? Right here it says A plus BI. I'm not going to mark it wrong if you put negative 27i plus 38, but I will tell you, or I will let you know, don't forget this. Because you know how uptight some teachers are, they will mark it wrong and you've got the same answer, but you just don't have it in that order. So, if this was a hard copy test and you wrote this answer, I would circle this and say, remember, and I would just let it go. But you may go into another teacher's class and you write it like this, and they mark it wrong. And there's not really anything you can do about it. So there is your FOIL method. So with the I, so far, we've talked about combining like terms, and we've talked about exponent, and we've talked about FOIL. So what else is there? Well, there's addition and subtraction, multiplication. What's left? Division, and that's when you rationalize. And you better get used to that because that's what you're going to see in Calc 1. I know I saw one. We'll go back. We'll come back to this one here. Well, go ahead and do this one. 5i. Just remind me we got to go over. We got to go over that rationalizing. 5i times 3 minus I quantity squared. Now, what does students do right here that you can't do? What do they do?
Take out another 3 minus 5.
Say again?
Take out another 3 minus 5.
No.
Like they square.
They
the
try to
third.
distribute the 5i.
Oh,
Can't do that. All right, so make a note. Can't do that because of the square. So you can either do the FOIL method, or you can use shortcut number 2 first. Then you can what? Distribute. So remember on this one, do FOIL or shortcut number 2, then distribute 5i. So this is a minus b quantity squared, which gives us 9 minus 6i plus I squared. And then we're going to distribute this. So that's going to be 45i minus 30i squared plus 5i to the third. And that I squared is what?
negative.
So that's going to be positive what? 30. This I cubed, 3 over 2 is what? 3 over 2 is a fraction. And you could say 1.5. So that's what? I, and then what's 1? It's negative I. So that'd be negative 5i. And what's 45i minus 5i? 40i plus 30. And that's not written in the correct way, so
You have to factor it.
30, you can if you want to. 30 plus 40i, that's one way of writing it. You could factor out a 10. And 3 plus 4i is another way of writing it. Now there, I'd take either answer. There's no law that says you have to pull that out, but some people do. So that's how you do.
Is there